Good morning and welcome back to KSNT News here on your Monday. Always a pleasure to have Chief Cochran with the Topeka Police Department here joining us on the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, thank you for being here. Of course, today is a big day for the DeJuan Simmons murder case. Today is the preliminary trial for Francisco Mendez, who was arrested in connection to DeJuan Simmons' murder. I know this investigation is continuing, though, for you all at the department. What can you say on the latest?
Yeah, this is a very active investigation, and there's a lot of things that are still being tied together. This is one of those cases that there's so many parts, moving parts, that it's kind of slow in progression, and you kind of reach milestones. But when you reach those milestones, they're very rewarding. And so this is another one of those milestones in this case. And I think there'll be some information that comes out in this case that's going to help move the investigation forward.
Okay, and we'll look forward to hearing that. We'll have an update, I'm sure, on that later on tonight. Now, you know, the DeJuan Simmons case really did rock the Topeka community. Such a tragic time for so many people. What is the crime rate looking like right now in the area?
Well, in the city of Topeka right now, our shootings are up a little bit over last year. But one of the things that's really concerning that we've really noticed and we're really starting to focus on is the amount of teen violence that we have, young people using guns. We're experiencing cases now where we have as young as 15-year-olds as our shooters, up to 18, and that's really a pretty good vast majority of our offenders is in that age group. And so we're working on a lot of programs to try to reach those young people. But you know, when we've had 2 domestic violence cases in the last 2 weeks where the shooter was 17-year-old male, and the victim was an 18-year-old female. So teenagers, access to firearms, the ability to get firearms, I think it really led to this trend in the increase in violence because, you know, when we look at our community, we say you're 21 years old, you're still not old enough to make the proper decisions on whether you can drink alcohol, 21 to buy cigarettes, but yet we think it's okay for younger people to carry firearms. And so we got some issues that in society that we need to address, and the only way we can do that is through the community. We have to work together, and we have to let legislators know what we want and what we don't want. So I think it's really important. But when we talk about teen violence, it's much more complicated than just one little facet. There's a lot of things going on.
And as you mentioned, a lot of cases involved in the teenage violence right now. Now, Chief Cochran, another big topic in the news, of course, is drugs. And Manhattan, a huge federal investigation just came out last week that multiple people are now arrested for drug involvement in Manhattan. You know, what's being done here in Topeka to combat fentanyl and heroin, opioids?
Well, one of the things, when I became the chief, our narcotics unit, we've been revamping and reorganizing, trying to get it to where we want it to be. But was really kind of exciting when Sheriff Phil became the sheriff. He had a priority and a focus on narcotics investigations. And so we've been working together. And, you know, we did that press conference unveiling our drug task force, but that is something that we'd been working on for many months and getting that organized where it was going to be. One of the things that I say, a lot of our crime is driven by narcotics and drug sales and activity, and so the Topeka Police Department is making a commitment to that. We're increasing the number of investigators that we have in our narcotics unit, and so by the end of the year, I'm pretty excited as to where we're going to be in that partnership with the Sheriff's Office and bringing in some other partners, and so it's going to be an exciting time, and I think you'll see a drastic increase in narcotics arrest warrants and stuff like that, and I think we'll notice an impact on the drug market in Shawnee County by midsummer next year.
Yeah, and certainly already making a difference with being in the headlines in the last week or so here regionally. Chief Cochran, thank you for being here as always on the show this morning.